today we're going to be putting down some food plots. This one right here, this is the first of three. This is what I'm going to be showing you guys today. So total we got 300 pounds of lime, about 100 per plot. Each one of the plots is about 0.25 acres, so about a quarter. So that's about the ratio. I'm using 100 pounds per quarter. Then we got triple 13 fertilizer. I'm using 50 pounds per quarter acre. And then 3 different types of seeds. We got some clover, some turnips, and then a mixture of brassica, clover, and some oats and some other stuff in there. So yeah, I'm gonna show you how we put the plots down, and yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so right now I'm laying some of the limestone down. We're putting 100 pounds on this quarter acre plot. So right now I'm just using the walk behind spreader. It's more of a seed spreader, but it did get the job done. I wouldn't say it was necessarily the funnest thing to do with that, but it did work. This is the weather that we're supposed to get today. We're supposed to get about 1.5 inches of rain, so hopefully this rain is enough to get the plots started, because you kind of want to plant on a day where you're either going to get rain within the next couple days or ideally that night. So that's what ended up happening. We ended up getting at least 1 inch of rain, and the plots kicked off after that. But so once I get this 100 pounds of lime down, I try to spread it as evenly as possible. I'm going to take the triple 13 fertilizer and 1 40-pound bag of that I used per quarter acre, and it seemed to work pretty good. I once again used the spreader to the walk behind, which I think the fertilizer you could probably do in like a backpack spreader or one of the ones that like goes on your chest. But anyways, so we're getting that in, and once we get the fertilizer and the lime down, then I'm gonna go ahead and take the tractor and till it up one more time. So we work the fertilizer and the lime in evenly to the ground so it absorbs better. Then we're gonna lay the seed down, and then the last step, which isn't a necessary step, but I'm gonna take a wire drag behind on the quad and just cover up some of the seed to get some better seed to soil contact. So it should germinate a little better by doing that. But when it comes to seed, I put down 25 pounds of radish seed on this plot, and it definitely wasn't enough. Like, it pretty much evenly covered the plot with like a layer of it. And granted, I'm using this crappy walk behind spreader. A body spreader would have been much better, or even like a spreader on a quad or something else if you have that type of equipment. But for what I have, this is all I could use. So it did an okay job, but it didn't do the best job. So next year, definitely, I'm gonna go either 50 to 100 pounds of seed. I think that would cover all the areas a lot better versus trying to use the 25 pounds, where later on, once the plot was almost a month in, I went ahead and just bought 10 more pounds of seed, and I just covered and filled in some of the gaps, which is fine. You can always do that. It's not a big deal. But just for aesthetics and the functionality of the plot, I would definitely go with more seed. You're better to be safe than sorry when it comes to it, because you could go ahead and start spreading and you dump half your seed out just because you don't have the right fill ratio. So that's one other thing that I would recommend. Is in the beginning of the video I said 25 pounds, but I would definitely go 50 to 100 pounds easy for a quarter acre. And then just if you're doing a half acre, 150 to 200 pounds of seed, so on. So now we're on to the next step, which is getting the fertilizer and the lime into your soil nice and mixed up. So that's what we're doing here. Just going over it once, because you don't want to go over it too much, because then you'll have weeds that could come up a lot quicker. So I went ahead and before I laid everything down, I tilled the plot. I tilled it twice. I went over it twice about a week ago. So putting this plot in on July 17th, it was probably around the 10th that I went ahead and tilled it twice, and a month prior to that I had tilled it 3 times. So this is the 3rd time, because this isn't I'm not using any pesticides on it, which if you went ahead and sprayed it, you wouldn't have to worry about this as much. You could spray it, kill everything would be dead. You till it once or twice and you're good. No weeds are going to come back. But since I'm not spraying any fertilizer or pesticides, I'm not taking any chances by over tilling, because the more you till, the more you break up the grass, and the more grass seed that you don't want will come in. Which there are definitely pesticides that you could spray after the fact, which I might, and that will just kill the grass and leave your plot alone. So that's something you could think about. But so once we get this tilled once, then we're gonna plant. But so no pesticides on this plot. So I'm curious to see how the weeds turn out. Hopefully not too bad. If the plot comes in thick, there won't be too many weeds that'll poke through. We should be good on that. So now's the second to last step, and that's laying down the seed, of course. And I really recommend either a spreader that goes on your quad, or one of those spreaders that goes on your chest. It's like a bag spreader. I'm definitely going to invest in one of those for next year. It just evenly spreads your seed a lot better than a walk behind. Now this did get the job done, but it wasn't very efficient, and it was kind of a pain just to push it, and it didn't spread the seed very good. So definitely invest in a better spreader. That's one thing I do recommend. So there's some of the other seed that I'm dumping in. This plot was about 7 different subspecies of beetroots and radishes. That's what went into this plot. That was like the mixture that the seed I bought came in, so that's what was in it. And then I have a plot of just clover. That one's probably my smallest plot. It's just under a 1/4 acre. And then my slightly larger plot, it's kind of a weird one, it's just oddly shaped. That one's gonna have the mixture of brassica, oats, rye. There's some clover in there, and I believe there's some radishes in there too. That one I put about 40 pounds of seed on, just because it was slightly bigger. But so I'm curious to see how that one turns out too, because I only used 100 pounds of lime and 40 pounds of fertilizer. So, and that field has probably the worst dirt quality out of the 3 of them. That field isn't the best. We've had trouble getting stuff to grow in that one in the past. So now taking the drag behind on the quad and just going over it once, because you don't want to pack that, because if you pack the seed in too deep, it won't grow. It'll grow roots, but it won't ever see the surface. So I'm just going over it once very lightly, and there's just a piece of probably 10-pound iron weighing the wire down, so it's not real heavy. It's not like it's gouging the seeds really deep into the ground. But this is just a step that I'm gonna do. You could, if you have a roller, you could probably roll it. I've seen people do that. I just didn't want to pack it in too tight, because I feel like with a roller you don't get the best soil to seed contact. You're kind of just packing the dirt in, versus this is spreading dirt all around. But so this is the final step of the plot of what we're doing. But most people plant in early August, but the weather for my state really wasn't good for rain. We really weren't getting much rain, so I decided to plant on the 17th of July, and these are just pictures of the plots the day of. This is the clover plot on July 21st, so 4 days after planting. Then here's the radish plot 1 week later. This is the mixture assortment plot a week later as well. So those two have germinated, and then this is the clover plot a week later. So all three definitely germinated from that rain that we had. We had an inch or an inch and a half came down the night of, and then 4 days later we had about a third of an inch. That's two pictures from the same plot. This is 2 weeks later. This is the radish plot 2 weeks later. So this is the 31st of July. The clover plot 2 weeks later.
Alright, so this is 3 weeks after planting. As I was walking in here, there was literally just a spike, but it had two beams on, like a little spike with two beams on the right. But so this is 3 weeks after, so it's coming in not bad. Some of the mixture I put in here is starting to come up, but I went ahead and I got a little more seed, so we're gonna put some seed down in some of the patchy areas and just get it thicker so it comes up a little better. But yeah, that's kind of a good sign to see a deer on it. Got to get a trail camera out on this plot soon. Gonna get it up this week, so hopefully we'll get some pics in there for you guys. But yeah, so this is 3 weeks after planting. It's actually been raining pretty hard lately, but it went like 2 weeks after I planted where we didn't get any rain, so it's pretty good that it's coming up this good. But we're gonna lay some more seed down. So yeah,
this is the awkward kind of weird mixture plot with not real great soil after 3 weeks. So most of it's actually coming up pretty good. The mixture, you can tell there's some radishes that are coming up. The clover really came in pretty good. And then the brassica and oats is kind of, it's coming in. It's just not real thick, which is, I don't know what I was expecting. It was kind of cheaper seed. It wasn't the highest quality.
all right, so here we got the turnips and radishes. So as they got bigger, actually, they kind of filled in a lot of the spots that didn't have seed. But as you can see, there's definitely some patches, and it was very evident that there was patches before they got this big, but I haven't been back here in about a week. So I'm thinking we're gonna go, I'm gonna see what we gotta do, because I don't think this is even gonna need all the seed that I did, although in there it's kind of patchy. So we're gonna cover some seed here, fill in the gaps, but these are coming up really nice after 3 weeks. Like, these are really full, so this should be pretty good. Gotta get got 2 more cameras. Gotta put a camera on this field 100%, because this has gotta start getting hit soon.
This is the same time frame of one of the thicker sections, so they're coming up beautifully. Then here are just a few trail camera pics from the end of August, and then this is right now present. This was yesterday. So here again we have the final list of what was used and the equipment used for this plot. Now definitely you need a seed spreader. You can't really spread it by hand. You're gonna need some sort of tractor or something that you can rip up the ground for this plot. And that, yes, they do make no-till food plots, and I've never experimented with one, but for this is what you're gonna need. And the ATV with the drag behind, you don't need that. That's just for better germination, so you could get away with not using that. And then for the supplies, you're gonna need 100 pounds of lime per quarter acre. You could definitely go a little more depending on your seed or soil quality. Now you could test your soil, but the base is, this is what I would do, is 100 pounds of lime per quarter acre, so about 400 pounds per acre minimum. You could go more, you could go, I wouldn't go less, but I would definitely, you could go more. And then 50 pounds of triple 13 fertilizer. That's pretty straightforward. That's all you need. You don't want to over fertilize, because that's not a good thing. That nothing will grow if you over fertilize. You'll just kill everything. And then for seed, I would say 50 pounds minimum per quarter acre. And especially if you're doing an acre, that's a big plot of land. I would definitely go even more than 200 pounds, but 50 is the minimum. I got away with 25. You could go 25, but I would definitely go more to 50. If you have the money, definitely go to 50. But yeah, so I try to put as much results as I could within the first month. Now the plots right now, they're doing pretty good. They're growing. There's deer on them. So I left the links to some of the products that I used in the video, and I left the links to the seed that I purchased and the lime and fertilizer, which I just wanted to put in there so you guys knew what I used. I wouldn't buy that online. I'd go to either Home Depot or wherever hardware store is near you and grab that for fairly cheap. But the seed, I left links to, because I bought the seed online, because usually it's a lot cheaper and it's hard to find. If you enjoyed the video and thought it was helpful, I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and if you want to leave us a sub, go for it. But so that's my 2024 food plot video. So until next time, I'll see you guys later.